Just so you know that we bought those houses, and I've spoken with the council. The house is down in the flood zone. The town has purchased six. We purchased the 6 houses without spending. I really want to get this point across. A quarter of the taxpayers' money. It's not cost us anything. When I first got here, and our CS said, "Oh, you need to come up with $1.1 million," I said, "It's not happening." Make a long story short, we own the houses. Now, we have some options to do with the houses. We can obviously, like the option we have is to knock them down. However, I seem to get some ideas, and maybe sometimes it's dangerous, but I called the president and I called the other members of the council. What we did is we had Richard Godfrey from Rhode Island Housing and Mortgage come in last week, and what I would like to do, and the council agrees, is instead of knock the houses down, is only for Johnston residents. Perhaps we can give the houses or sell them for $1, providing RIMFAC, or Rhode Island Housing Mortgage, I don't know if they call them RIMFAC, would pay to move them. And we would obviously seal the deal. What do they call it when you seal the deal for $1? This is a legal term. We would seal the deal and sell them the house for $1. And the residents would be picked by Rhode Island Housing, not by the town of Johnston. And if we could get those houses moved on another lot, number one, we keep them on the tax rolls, and number two, most importantly, you provide a family who maybe, their dream, or the American dream, obviously we all know, is to own a house. If it costs, I'm just using the number, don't quote me, if it costs between moving the house and setting up the utilities again and putting it on a foundation, if it costs $100,000, quite frankly, you couldn't build a house for $100,000. So we're looking at that at this point in time. The houses are in Councilman Foco's old neighborhood where she used to live, her distance, so she knows it well. So we're looking at that instead of, and the council president and the council members thought it was a good idea, instead of destroy the homes, bury them in the landfill, if we can give them to somebody and make a family happy. But my theme is they have to be Johnston residents, and the Johnston residents will be picked or based on their qualifications, if it comes to fruition, based on their qualifications. So I think it's really good, we get the houses back on the tax roll. If not, our other option is, if that doesn't work, then we're going to knock them down. And I'm looking at 2 options of knocking them down. One of the options is, if we can do it legally, we'll do it ourselves. The town will do it ourselves, and we'll be compensated. The other option is, we can't do it ourselves. We'll have to obviously put it up for bid and hire a company to knock them down. But they're beautiful homes, by the way. I hate to see them. I hate to see them destroyed when there are families out there that are really deserving of a home, and perhaps they can't afford one. But I think we'll make it very affordable. Mention that to Senator Reed, White House, and Langevin. They're going to make some phone calls to see if there's any funding that's possible to help Rhode Island Housing Mortgage. So we're just looking at, we're trying to look at turning a bad thing. We kind of miss those people. I know they were in agony, but they suffered a lot. But a lot of them relocated to Johnston, which is a good thing. But for all the suffering and misery they went through, at least now maybe we can make something good out of it, knowing that somebody would get their house. And as I said, we'd be willing to sell the homes for $1. I did concede today somewhat to Senator Reed and the White House and Congressman Langevin, and the councilman and I said, worst case scenario, if there are no lots available in Johnston that's close, like you wouldn't move a house from there all the way to the western part of Johnston, would be cost prohibitive. But maybe if there are some lots available in Providence, I'll sit down with Mayor Tavares, providing it can be done legally, and maybe we'll donate them, whatever. If it can be done. It may not be able, I don't know anything about moving homes, but at least not yet. So, but that's something we're looking at. So, and once again, I have to commend, on behalf of myself and Councilwoman Foco, we have to thank, it's amazing when you call the federal guys in, because now the bridge is like, the bridge is being built. I was ready to jump off the bridge, quite frankly, if we kept waiting. It's ridiculous. But by calling in our federal delegation, who have never failed us yet since I've been here, call them in, and they're there, and they're ready to do well. As I said, they made some phone calls right then and there, and we're going to get the date pushed out. So you can tell the people in that area that the Mill Street Bridge will be coming to fruition, and we're going to have a grand ribbon cutting ceremony, and go from there. Any questions on it? Thank you for your patience. I know I threw a lot at you, but there's a lot of good things going on in this town, and I'd like to brag, because the council and myself and even the school committee, we're working very hard. So there's a lot of good things going on. And yes?
Those 6 houses, that $1.1 million, is that the assessed value of all 6?
Basically, yeah. That's not only the assessed value, that also includes, it probably is, but you'd have to check with Pam, but it also includes, like, for instance, I believe the government will give us $21,000 per home to knock down. demolish, restore, we have to fill, if there's a cesspool, we have to fill up the cesspool, fill that up, we have to fill the foundation, so they will do that for us. Or we'll do it. But I'm looking to see, quite frankly, I have an angle on this, on all of this. You know my angle. What I'm looking to do, and we're going to find out if it's legal, if we knock down the houses, what I'd like to do, we're in need of a backhoe for the town. We have an old backhoe. And if you're looking at $21,000 per house times 7 houses, I believe there's 7 altogether. You're looking at, if my math is correct, you're looking at $147,000. So I just got some prices on a backhoe. A Volvo backhoe is like $105,000, but a John Deere backhoe is like $94,000. So if I can get our people, our DPW workers, to knock those houses down, if in fact, now keep in mind, this is if we can't move them and they can't go to deserving families. If we have no choice but to knock them down, what I will do is, if they'll allow us, we'll knock them down, and the money we get, I'll buy a new backhoe to knock the houses down. And then when the houses are all gone, we've got a backhoe. First, if you buy, if you put it out for bid, then the company comes in and knocks them down, the town has nothing to show for it. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've got the open space now, and we've got those people out of there. But if we can buy a backhoe and it's perfectly legal, if Billy Conley's checking that out, then we'll do that, we'll knock the houses down ourselves. We'll also use them, providing that we can't give them away, we'll also use them for the fire department, so the firemen can practice, they'll have what they call live burns. And then we'll also, the police also want to use them for their SWAT team and just do some practice and so before we knock them down. But we're working against time, so we have to move rather quickly. But I'm hoping that Senators Reid, Whitehouse, and Manchin will come through. I would rather, don't get me wrong, I want a backhoe. I want a backhoe real bad that the taxpayers don't have to pay for, technically. But if we can give the houses away, and even if we can only give 4 away, there's still, 3 other houses that we can knock them down ourselves and get the money and see if we're getting a backhoe. That's always a method. I'm not mad, is to get something tangible for the town. When everything's all said and done and the lots are filled up and the septic systems are filled up, you got the land there, but at least if we knock them down, we got a new backhoe. Any other questions? Thank you all for your patience. I'm sorry I babbled on, but I just want to give you as much information because it's important. Thank you very much.